So I want to appreciate the time today. My name is James Benson. I'm a senior account executive here at Outsystems, running the New England segment of the business. So been here for about 4 years now. So I've seen quite a bit in my time here. What's going on here? I'm sure to go ahead and accept that. All right. So just to give a little background as to who we are as a company at Outsystems, we've been in business since 2001, so a little over 20 years now. Very much have a global footprint across 87 countries, running the gamut of 22 different industries, almost 400 global partners, ranging anywhere from the big four consulting firms to system integrators to independent ISVs to the big player cloud providers such as Amazon and Microsoft. So really what we set out to do is give every organization the power to innovate through software and enabling them to do that at scale with significant ease. So by offering a visual approach to full stack application development, we've been very successful in doing that across a wide range of different application use cases, ranging from web to mobile interfaces to customer facing to employee facing, all the way to headless services as well. So there are three fundamental challenges that organizations struggle with when trying to innovate at scale, like we're talking about here. The first one being is that the backlogs of IT are growing at an exponential rate. They're growing at a rate quicker than they can address them in a meaningful timeline. So what ends up happening is that all different units of business are putting a strain on IT because everybody has a request for a new application that they want built for their respective line of business, or perhaps it's a change made to an existing app. And what ends up happening is that IT has to be very selective in the traditional landscape, where either whoever screams the loudest gets the attention of IT, or whatever application, whatever most critical application is crashing at that time, gets all of IT's resources. So in this model, there are very clear winners and losers, and not everybody's happy. So, and especially now with the rising demand for expert level developers in companies, the competition for developers has become that much more intense. So it's very hard to find good talent that can really meet these demands of the business. This second challenge is it's very hard to meet non-functional requirements. So all the things that happen outside of development from a DevOps perspective, right? Developers are trying to get something into production quickly for the business, and as a result, they perhaps cut corners, right? Maybe compromising security or architectural best practices. Not having a very strong governed model, so it's easy for anybody to get in and tamper with these things. So this is another challenge IT faces. And then lastly, just the constant change with the competitive landscape across different industries. With new requirements coming up for organizations to remain competitive, it's very hard with traditional tool sets and traditional development for folks to keep up with those things. If somebody's putting in a request to IT and they don't get out into production until 6 months later, chances are that application, that technology is already obsolete to an extent. So that's a very hard thing to keep up with as well. So really what we set out to help organizations do are build applications right, build them fast, and build them for the future without compromising any sort of best practices or long-term maintainability. Sorry. So in enterprise digital transformation, well, what we're seeing is there's really a four-phased approach. And there's really four main buckets of application use cases we see. So the first being on the customer experience front. So, what experiences are businesses delivering to their customers? Examples we're seeing are, perhaps you're a bank building a mobile app for your customers. You're an airline building, an application for your customers to book their, flights and travel. You're a hospital with, patient account and medical information. These are all examples of things we're seeing customers build on the platform from a CX perspective. The next bucket we see is workplace innovation. So improving the experiences for internal employees of a company. How are you able to do your day-to-day in as effective of a manner as possible? The next is process automation. So things done traditionally through things like Excel sheets, or in some cases even physical paper still, modernizing those experiences. And then the last bit is app modernization. So, core legacy systems that really can't even be, tampered with or, attempted to upgrade just because they're so old. If you, try to adjust one thing, you risk the whole system going down. So those are the four main buckets. And really where we see customers starting out is, on perhaps a departmental tactical type solution. So, perhaps it has to do with one single department where they start out. As they evolve, perhaps they're now building applications that delve into multiple business units where, there's a process flow across different departments for a common outcome. As they evolve into kind of the next chasm here of transformation, these are the areas where they're becoming more competitive and, are finding opportunities to differentiate in their marketplace. And then lastly, this is the, overall center of excellence approach where they're just cranking out enterprise applications at an increasingly rapid speed. So really at a high level, this is the map of the Outsystems platform. Everything you see in this slide here comes out of the box. So we are very much a full stack, full life cycle app development platform. And there are really four main tenets to what come in Outsystems. So first tenet being is just the full stack development capabilities. So through a drag and drop framework, all four of these layers here from UI, logic, process, and data are all done very simplistically through a drag and drop development approach. While it's very quick and easy to do the drag and drop framework, where speed increases at an exponential rate is that all these components are reusable. So you build a UI widget once, you build a certain process or data model once, you're able to reuse that and replicate that across all the subsequent applications you're then building. The next tenet is our integration agnostic abilities. So connecting to enterprise systems through either REST or SOAP web services or through direct API calls in pre-built connectors. We leverage an open source repository called the Outsystems Forge. There are about 4,000 components in here today. Think of the Forge as sort of a proprietary GitHub for Outsystems. So things like UI widgets, connectors to systems such as Salesforce, SAP, O365. Chances are there's a system you can think of, there's probably a connector for it in the Forge, so you don't have to build that API and integration from the ground up. The next bit is because we are a full stack, full lifecycle platform, all of the tasks associated outside of development are baked into the platform as well. So things like monitoring and debugging, collecting in-app user feedback, ongoing monitoring for you to ensure that your apps remain architected properly and you're not incurring technical debt, and then ensuring that you have strong governance models built in place are all incorporated in the Outsystems platform as well. And the last bit here is just enabling a wide range of experience. So as I mentioned before, right, you're able to create applications for web, mobile, tablet, iOS, Android. You can create headless services that don't have a UI to streamline certain processes. And what we're seeing a lot of now is people are incorporating things like automated chatbots, voice command, voice detect into their applications, as well as automated SMS and email notifications when a request needs to be made for a certain task. And because we are enterprise grade, we ensure that controls are built in the platform to enable scalability. So we have customers today building applications supporting millions of end users. There are over 196 pre-built security components in the platform today, including things capable of supporting PCI, SOC 2 Type 2, HIPAA, and many more compliance parameters. Lastly, it's flexible for how you choose to deploy. So we offer an Outsystems cloud that runs on an AWS infrastructure, but if you have your organizational preferences where you want to run on your own environment, we give you the flexibility to do so either. I think there was a little disconnect transferring from Google Sheets to the PowerPoint here, so apologies for that. But a quick case study I'd like to point out is with a financial services organization called Lender. They're based in the Chicago area, and these guys were a classic case of a very small, very lean IT team who just simply could not keep up with the demands of the business. As a result, there were some very significant bottlenecks that were building up from all the business requests that IT couldn't turn around, in a very rapid manner. So as a result, they were churning customers, they were falling behind from a competitive standpoint. And, the business was very much in jeopardy because their competitors were going a lot faster than they were. Long story short, they ended up partnering with Outsystems, and they were able to save 70% of their development effort by utilizing the platform. They're now cranking out about 5 apps every 12 months, which is a heck of a lot faster than what they were doing before. So these guys are in a really good spot now as a result of partnering with us. The last one I'll mention here is Medtronic, who is one of our more flagship customers. These guys were dealing with challenges associated with global scale and security, serving users really across the globe for a very mission critical application supporting a lot of their health sensors. So ended up partnering with Outsystems as well, as we were able to get through all of their security checkpoints and make sure that they were comfortable with those. As a result of them moving this app to our platform, they saw about a 50% saving in IT budget, and now they're supporting almost 350,000 sessions a year across our patient base. So if this sounds interesting, there is a free version of the Outsystems platform online. It's free forever. Anybody can download it, and you can start as early as today and starting to build some applications on your own personal machine and really experiencing the speed firsthand. And that's it. Are there any questions?